Coming at you not quite live from a bedroom somewhere in the middle of nowhere, it's the Film Dudes podcast. Landon and Joe, what's up?
Not much. How are you today?
Pretty good. Is Joe able to use Telegram? Or Discord, I mean.
Uh,
Whatever this
yeah,
is.
yeah, I'm still able to use it. Yeah,
Okay, good. Oh, joy, the
luckily.
church across from me is deciding to ring the bells. Because we're recording this on a Sunday instead of our usual Saturday.
I mean, at least it's bells.
Yeah, but they're like super loud.
In nomine
Oh,
Christi
yeah.
Spiritus Sancti.
And then you
Oh,
smack
man.
yourself in the face with a plank of wood or whatever from Monty Python.
Yeah.
Iesu
Yeah.
Domine, Domine requiem. Kathunk! God, that part was so stupid. Anyway, what's everybody been watching?
Uh, I don't know. I actually picked up an episode of The Walking Dead the other night,
Ah,
and yeah, just a random episode.
I've heard it's gotten good again.
Oh yeah, I haven't gotten that far.
Again? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like season 5, everybody warned me, like, just stop watching around season 5, and that's when I just naturally kind of gave up on it anyway, because it was like, this is moving at a crawling zombie pace.
Well, I mean, I never really watched the show, so I
It's pretty
really have
good.
no opinion.
Carl's a little piece of shit in the first season,
Yeah.
in my opinion, and I'm sure a lot of people are either team Carl or team not Carl for what he did. Jesus, if no one's seen the first season of The Walking Dead at this point, they're either not gonna see it or they're too young to see it. So I
Yeah.
feel like it's fine
I'm
to
in
just
the
talk
first
about it.
camp. Uh,
What else has anybody seen?
I started watching the fourth season of Seven Deadly Sins on Netflix.
Oh, how's that?
It's very good. So many, like every episode reveals something huge. I feel like, and there's 24 episodes, and I'm only on episode 9, I think.
All
Yeah.
oh,
right.
So
I figured you would have tried to zip through them as fast as possible.
I was doing that, and then it's just like, oh, I need a break because, man, there is just so much to take in at this point.
Oh,
But yeah, not gonna say much other than that because it just came out, so uh, got to give people plenty of time to watch it. A lot of it is prequel stuff. Like, God, I swear, like 5 episodes focused just on King and Diane back to back. Uh, Other than that, I don't think I can say much else. Uh, but yeah, it's very good. Definitely worth rewatching the whole series actually because I've forgotten most of everything else except for little baby Hawk.
oh, how could you forget that?
That was good. That was pretty good.
Well, I guess I've almost finished Spartacus. Um, it's a really good movie.
Who's in it?
Uh, Kirk Douglas. I
Hmm.
mean, there's a whole bunch of other people in it, but uh, think I think they brought in Stanley Kubrick like a little later, so I don't know if you can really call it a Stanley Kubrick film.
Well, does it
Or
have a
call it a
giant
Stanley
floating
Kubrick.
space baby in it?
Oh, fuck that. I'm not even a big fan of Kubrick otherwise, so I mean,
I still need
um,
to watch. Oh, what's the one where it's like how I learned to stop whatever and love the
oh, how I
bomb?
learned to stop worrying and love the bomb.
Yeah, what's it? Doctor Strangelove,
Yeah,
though. That's
yeah,
the name of it.
yeah. That's definitely one of the films of all time.
I always forget that Full Metal Jacket is a Kubrick film
Uh,
Oh yeah, that's right.
because
I forgot that too.
it doesn't have like, well, I guess I've only watched 2001. Besides Full Metal Jacket, those are the only two Kubrick films. But like, they're such vastly different films, especially the first half of Full Metal Jacket, because it's just
yeah,
really funny, actually, to be honest. Up until Private
yeah,
Pile goes AWOL.
yeah. I mean, Kubrick always, all of his films, he tried to do something different, or he tried to, anyways. I think he did like 8 films total over a career from the 60s to the early 2000s, I think.
What if Kubrick did the Super Mario Bros. Film?
Ah,
Would it be.
I don't know.
Is it at all possible that it could be darker than it already was? Or intended, I guess.
um, I'm trying to. This is a tough one. I'm kind of trying to figure out how that would have gone.
Not very
I
well,
mean,
I'm sure.
well, you can't really say that any of his films ran smoothly. So,
I don't know. 2001 was pretty good, like, in terms of it appearing to be smooth up until the, like, just absolute bizarre, like, palace room scene at the end.
well, I don't mean like the films themselves appearing smooth. I mean like the production
Oh, yeah, no, those, behind the scenes stories were pretty bad sometimes.
with Kubrick. Yeah, kind of.
I think it would be interesting at this point, though. I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet, but I'd love to see a Saving Mr. Banks esque version of a Nintendo story, like the founding of Nintendo and how it was like a playing card company back in 18 something or other. Uh, and then they just branched out into like toys and games.
I mean, is there enough of a story there for a
I think
movie?
definitely there's a story there.
I'm just saying, I don't know much about it, so I don't know.
Well, I mean, you're aware of like either Mario or the Legend of Zelda games. You
Yeah, I'm
probably
aware.
grew
Yeah.
up with like a Mario game, I'm sure.
Yes, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you're talking about a sort of saving Mr. Banks sort of situation. Well,
Well, just in like the style that Saving Mr. Banks was done in, not
yeah, that's
necessarily like a Hollywood film. I feel like it'd be much better if it were like a Japanese film. Um, I feel like that's kind of the only way you could do it, because obviously they're a Japanese company. But although I guess the story of Mario happened to come from the American Nintendo offices when they were like renting and their landlord was just like some Brooklyn guy or something. There's a story about that in there somewhere. But I feel like there's definitely enough material there to make something in the style of Saving Mr. Banks.
well, I guess you could do that story. You can do all the research.
Well, you're the screenwriter type, so I'll leave that up to you.
Landon, did you take any of the screenwriting class?
Nope. No, my major was just mostly on like social and cultural aspects of film and how film reflects like the social dialogue of a certain era.
Okay.
It was more of an academic background, I think, but yeah, I mean, I did have to take like basic film production, but no, I never had to take a screenwriting class.
Oh, good old basic film production.
Oh, that was fun.
Oh, God. Getting showered in pickle juice.
Yep.
Yo,
I'll let you tell
you
that
st-
story.
Ooh,
You, Landon.
I've drank since then. I don't exactly remember. I all I remember
oh
is a
yeah.
big jar of pickles, and somebody bit into it, and it like sprayed.
Oh, God, that was one of our first projects we did. It was like some weird, like, joke on getting catfished, I think. And, you were like, I don't know, just the way that I edited mine, it was like you were the straight guy who came in, and this other dude's there, and for whatever reason we needed a food prop, and all we had available was just this like gallon tub of pickles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who brought the pickles?
uh,
Was it K?
yeah.
Yeah, I
Yep.
thought K brought the pickles.
Yeah, I think they played like a waiter character in the
Yeah.
background. Oh, we had to take that, I think, like at least 3 times.
Um,
Yeah, it was fun.
It was great.
you
It was
still have
so
that,
good. I think I
don't
do
you?
somewhere, yeah. I might post that up on my, like, official portfolio channel that I have.
Did the script have something to do with like a red wagon?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Was it a wagon or what? It's something red. I
Um,
remember that.
it was, I think you're talking about a car, but for some reason your character dialogue was, like, in the 50s or something, so you're like, oh, that's a nice wagon.
Yeah,
It was really weird and out of
it
place, but
it
whatever.
was.
Oh, God. But anyway, yeah, the character sitting across me just like takes a giant bite out of this pickle, and like it just, or no, he took a bite out of it the first take and it was fine, but we were all just laughing so much before we said cut that we had to redo it. So it's like, how do I make the pickle look like I didn't just take a giant bite out of it? And I was like, well, just turn it over. So he does, and then just pickle juice sprays everywhere out the other end. Oh, God,
Kind
that
of
was
a better.
dumb. Uh,
Yeah, that was the hardest part trying not to laugh because I was holding the microphone.
which was oddly enough pickle shaped. I'm surprised you didn't just take a chomp on it like they did in the early Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh boy.
I feel like my teeth would hurt.
I'm smiling so much just from remembering everything. My cheeks already hurt.
It was a good time.
It was. It
It
was
was.
the best of times. It was the best of times.
Yeah.
Is that what you're gonna say? Okay.
Eat a pickle, Charles Dickens.
Yeah. No, Dickens does not like pickles.
How do we know?
Uh, I don't know. I'm sure you wrote it down somewhere. I don't like pickles.
Yes, I
Dear
believe
wife,
it
I
was
don't
in
like pickles.
his extended version of A Christmas Carol, the footnotes that he made.
He had footnotes to the Christmas Carol?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it said that he
Oh,
hated pickles.
Now the scene where Tiny Tim takes a bite out of a pickle. I
I
personally
hate
hated
pickles.
pickles.
oh God. No, like when you said that, I was like, oh, how many times have I had to deal with that damn story? And never once was there any mention of a pickle.
Oh
Oh,
god.
last night I rewatched La Piel que Habito,
What
the
is
s-
that?
the s- the skin I live in. It was a film that
Oh,
we watched in film theory.
Hmm.
Yeah,
in
it's a
film
pretty
theory?
interesting movie.
Well, what's it about?
Oh, it's how would I describe it?
Is that the one with Antonio Banderas?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. And then he's a surgeon who's like working on like, designing a skin that's burn proof because his wife died and his daughter ended up committing suicide
Oh,
and
that's a dark story then.
yeah,
Jeez.
but there's a twist to it and I just don't really want to reveal it because
yeah,
if you ever get a chance to watch it, it's kind of a dark twisted movie, but it's really enjoyable.
yeah. That's why I've heard it. It looks really good. I've always meant to watch it. Just like,
What's the name of it called again? I want to look this up.
I Live In is the English translation.
Oh yeah, the
But it's a Spanish film and it's called La Piel que Habito.
So he's got like.
you said you watched that in film theory?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, it won a
What was?
couple awards, I think.
Do you remember what you were talking about that was like, okay, we're gonna watch this movie now?
It was actually the first class of the semester.
Oh, wow.
It's based
And
on.
he didn't really lead up to it. He's like, okay, we're going to start with the movie, and we watched the movie. But yeah, I'd probably have to look up what the context that we were like looking at that movie through.
Yeah, because was it Tibbetts teaching it that semester? Or his
No, it was a new professor, but I don't think he was there long. I think he was only there for one semester, and I'm trying to remember his name. Uh, Shoot, I'm gonna have to go back and look at a syllabus.
Oh Jesus! So the plot of the book that it's based off of sounds like Spanish 50 Shades of Grey, just looking at the Wikipedia article.
Yeah, there's a lot of sexiness to it.
yeah, and
The English translation is called Tarantula.
Ooh,
yeah. I feel like each one of us has had a different film theory experience.
Oh.
I mean, and not in terms of like I'm not gonna go to that particular. I mean, just like the way the class was set up, you know.
Yeah.
yeah. Did we each have different professors?
I'm pretty sure I certainly did.
Yeah, I had Tibbetts.
I'm not gonna name mine since I'm, still actually going to KU.
Good
Probably
idea.
good for you not to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just maybe.
I mean,
Uh,
from like the way I understand, I mean, because Tibbetts tried to cover a lot. I mean, a lot. Um, touching on stuff like Marshall McLuhan and Socrates and Plato and Paul Schrader, and I mean, I just all over the place in terms of theories.
The only
Which,
takeaway I have from my class was just day one, my professor shows up with a stack of film dictionaries. And she says, "Okay, did everybody do the readings?" And we're all just like, what readings?" And she goes, "Oh, okay, well, I'll just crack open my film dictionary then and just start randomly reading from it." She reads this one term that I can't even remember what it was. And she goes, "Oh, I know this one's hard to understand, but it's sort of like this." She goes over to the whiteboard and just draws a circle. And I'm just like, okay. So that's how this class is going to be then.
so I pulled up my old syllabus. It's Mohsen Nasreen
Okay.
was the professor,
I
and the context was the body of film. So the readings dealt with like the means of the photoplay, and also like the close up, the gaze, the face of man. That's kind of
Oh,
what we were looking into.
yeah,
like the male gaze thing.
Yeah, a little bit of that, but it was like just more of like the close up of the face, and
Ah,
yeah, very theoretical.
I love how there's a whole bunch of
Well,
film theory classes, and it's like, well, can we actually like do some hands-on learning to put the theories into practice? Nope, we're gonna sit here and read textbooks for 3 months.
yeah,
I mean, they should probably have it to where film theory they have it um, have a class per theory.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we'll be studying Walter Benjamin theory in this
Ugh.
class. We'll be studying transcendental style in this class, and
I feel
because it's
like I've
just a
had to
whole
read
lot to
that
take in.
article, The Age of Mechanical Reproduction, at
Art
least
in
three
the
times.
yeah. By the time I got to the end of my senior year, I started to feel like, okay, I've read this before.
Yeah, I can almost
I've read
quote it
this.
at this point.
Yeah,
wasn't that. I mean, the handout we got wasn't it like close to 50 pages or something?
Yeah, yeah, and so we had to divide it up like for every person in the class, I think. Or maybe we like split off into groups and like we were told to look at different sections or something, but it's an interesting article for sure, but it's like some of the stuff you have to learn in college is just even for film classes, it's like why? I'm here to make films and stuff. Half the time is kind of like honestly wasted just by doing like research papers and crap that you're never gonna care about.
Yeah, but I feel like it's in the hopes that you take something away from it. Because
Yeah, there's
I
some
mean,
learning.
it just kind of opens it up, the door, so to speak. It's like um, Eisenstein, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, otherwise nobody would even bother to glance at Eisenstein, but somebody might find something they find really interesting in Eisenstein that they can apply to their own filmmaking style.
I mean, Eisenstein's films were certainly interesting. When I took a almost graduate level course on documentaries, we watched oh god, October, yeah, about the Bolshevik Revolution, and like the opening scene was super debated by everyone in the class because there's this scene of a drawbridge being raised up and there's like a horse and carriage And what happens is the horse gets on one side of the drawbridge, but the carriage gets stuck on the other side. So essentially, the horse is like dangling from one of the raised drawbridges, and
Oh
then
yeah.
finally, like the girdle or whatever snaps, and the horse plunges into the water, and we're like, okay, this was done when? Okay, they probably didn't have like good enough like props and stuff to make a fake horse, so I'm pretty sure that was a real horse that just maybe died.
Yeah. I read Eisenstein's he wrote two books, Film Sense and Film Form. I read Film Form, and there was actually some interesting stuff that I should have probably taken notes on because it's like a couple months later, and it's like, okay, what did he say about this? But I did read. I mean, when you do research, there is stuff like when I did a paper on the film Ichi the Killer. I One of the things I read from my research was they were talking about the depiction of violence on screen and talking about how in the film the depiction of violence kind of toys with the audience. You know, the stuff they're seeing, it's like, oh my gosh, that's gross and that's horrible. But when they get cheated out of this big moment, they do feel cheated, and it's supposed to make the audience ask, wow, what kind of a person am I for wanting more violence on the screen?
I feel like that's sort of the aspect that Tarantino uses as well.
Yeah, he does do that. And he is a fan of Takashi Miike, as you should remember from having watched Sukiyaki Western Django.
Oh,
I love Sukiyaki Western Django.
I've kind of suppressed that one. I just remember the scene from the
It
beginning
was
where like he just fillets a snake and eats the egg that the snake had swallowed.
And then he goes,
But the
ah!
movie is. I mean, the movie is pretty good.
I can't remember
It kind
any
of
other parts
it
of
makes
it
me
now.
laugh.
It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, oh jeez, that sheriff is just kind of this weirdo, really.
Oh, yeah.
God, I gotta look
They
up.
use him as a human shield the last half, and so he drops dead or plays possum to, you know.
Yeah.
I'm probably draining the humor from that scene right now.
Not yet.
Okay, give me time. I mean, it is fun watching Kasugi Western Django. You think about it and you remember how Kurosawa's films were modeled on westerns.
Mhm.
And I mean, Django is an Italian western. So you're just put into this weird mishmash that while it has its origins in Americana, I don't know. It's just kind of this weird sort of transnational dish.
Yeah.
Hold on. It sounds like there's somebody talking like right outside my window.
Oh, that's me.
They're
Oh,
having like a
were we supposed to be
super
doing that
loud.
today?
Yeah. Okay.
Joe,
Well,
where are you?
I got lost.
I'll just open up the window and we can have a live podcast then, I guess.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot my mask.
Oh yeah, we gotta social distance and everything, so you'll have to stay on the
Yeah.
other side of the screen, I guess. You'll just have to shout really loud.
Uh, I mean, you bring a
Your,
yardstick to measure the distance.
your
I mean,
neighbors
we
are
have
gonna
a
love you.
Well, Another show that I've been watching over. I think I just started watching it last year. My dad and I were watching Netflix, and then we were just scrolling through one day, and so it was like, oh, there's this dumb show called Norseman. Looks like Vikings that the
Oh,
History Channel did. Let's watch this. It is anything but.
Yeah, I've watched all of Norseman,
Oh, I just
and
started season 3. Oh my
yeah,
oh,
god. I love it when they always come back to like, oh, don't go creeping around the sheeting hole. It is the sheeting log. Yes, we have the sheeting log stalker. He has been
yeah,
going around groping your balls.
yeah.
It's
It
so
took
weird.
me a while to figure out that it's actually like season three takes place before season one.
I'm pretty sure it
oh,
And
said in the
really?
description, but okay.
I didn't read the description. So I spent the first couple of episodes going, isn't he, didn't he die? Didn't he die? What's happening here?
That guy
Weren't those
has
two
hair.
together?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm
Uh,
like, oh, I see what's happening.
oh god, that whole show, that whole series. I bet the writers sitting down were just like, fuck it. Let's just
Yeah.
make something completely random. And Netflix was just like, we love this so much. Here's a wheelbarrow full of money.
Well, I mean, why not make fun of the Vikings? I mean, that seemed like the next thing to do.
They they take the piss out of it and then some, to the point where it's barely about Vikings and like social commentary about our own society in the 21st century.
Very applicable.
Yeah,
Well,
because
I
it's
mean,
like they have weird conversations where the dialogue suddenly changes to like, wait a minute, they definitely wouldn't have used words like that back then.
Yeah.
yeah, well, how would you know? I mean, you think Vikings just thought all the time, well, I'm gonna be a Viking.
Well, how
I'm a
about the
Viking
fact that
24/7.
two Vikings come up to the village of another rival Jarl or whatever, and they're like, "Oh yes, we'd like to invite you to our chieftain's younger brother's wedding. What about 2 moons from now? What are you doing?" And the Jarl's assistant pulls out like what looks like a yardstick, but it's like the runic carvings, and it's like his calendar basically, and he's just like, you said the 2 months from now, okay? Nope, nothing going on then. And the Jarl's like, no, I'm very busy. And the assistant's like, no, your calendar says you're free. No, no, I'm quite busy.
Yeah. And there's a couple of times that they'll say something along the lines of, oh, it's been said, or they say, or I've heard. And they'll like say, like I don't know, some kind of something or other. And they go, who said that? Who says that?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
No,
Where it's
nobody
like,
says that yet.
yeah, yeah. No, I remember. I think I already came across that once somewhere. Um, But yeah, just the absolute ridiculousness of like, I think it's Orm who's the chieftain's brother.
Yeah.
He's like,
I believe
you
that's his name.
you cannot make me go on your pillaging and plundering and raping. Crocheting is my life. It's just so absurd.
Yeah.
Oh god. And then the one
Man.
slave guy who's um oh, I shouldn't say it, but the one slave who's like the trusted slave and is in almost every episode.
Yeah.
Carl, I think, or whatever. Clive, whatever his name is.
I don't remember his name. I'm horrible with names.
But anyway, the one who's like always there, basically. Uh, he has an interesting history. Oh
Yeah.
man, probably gonna
Um,
watch more of that tonight, even when we're done.
Kark.
Kark,
Yeah, I think his name is Kark.
not Clark.
No, Kark.
Okay, interesting.
Well, you can't expect them to have normal names, can you?
Well, I think one of them's like Ingrid. That name survived the centuries. Just
Well,
about.
it's like everything else. It's like everything else. They survived or they didn't because everybody's like, oh, that's bad.
Hello, my name is Arvid. I come from the north. Hi, Arvid. I'm at the AA meeting today because we drank so many horns of ale on the set of Vikings and Norsemen that I can't stop drinking out of a horn, even if it's non-alcoholic beverages like just, water. I just have to drink from a horn. I have this weird drinking problem. No, no, Arvid, that's not what this meeting's about. It's the fact that you can't stop drinking. No, no, no. I also drink alcohol every now and then, but I just have to drink it out of a horn.
I I think we should start a petition to bring back some of these names. Cause
Would I just do some weird character show in the middle of a podcast every episode?
I mean, we should pick up some of these old like Nordic names or whatever. Cause people are using up so many of the same names that other people are trying to get creative, and it is failing miserably.
Like Absidy.
Absidy.
A B C D E.
Oh my gosh.
Or this one name that my sister, who's like this almost the superintendent of like all of Texas, just from how many times she's moved around. Uh, she came across this one name, Ladasha, and it was
Oh
LA
yeah.
hyphen or
Mm-hmm.
dash A.
Yeah.
So any like normal English speaking person would see that name and go, La?
Yeah.
Is there a La here?
La
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that name kind of comes up quite a bit.
Oh, there was another one where there were twins, and they were named Orangelo and Lamangelo, and it's lemon jello and orange jello.
Oh
I'm not
no.
kidding. I'm not making these up either. These are
Yeah,
real
no, I
names.
believe you. That's the scary part. That's what I'm saying. We have to do something because, I mean, Odin. That sounds like a way better name than I don't know. Whatever the hell you
Orangelo.
just said. Yeah, Odin. That sounds impressive. Orangelo. It sounds like the kid who's gonna get beat up on the playground.
As his brother Lamangelo just sits there and watches.
Yeah. I mean,
My
and
favorite
it's
would
so.
be Blue Raspberry Jello.
Oh my gosh. You know somebody's gonna do that now. We've doomed some kid out there.
Well, what was it like historically the name Elsa came back or just had like some massive surge after Frozen came out?
Yeah. I bet that some fans of the Norseman show are probably going to name their kids
I
after a
mean, they're
few. There
strong
may be a
names.
little bit of a spike.
They have strong names and like the names actually mean something. Like hell even my name comes from the word steward, which is like caretaker of the house or whatever. So like there's history there. It's fascinating. Whereas you
Yeah.
just come up with like I don't want to just feel like I'm pulling a name out of my ass, but like LaShawn Danique or something like that. What the hell is that name?
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I thought if I had kids that I wouldn't do, like Bob or whatever. I didn't want to do that. So I thought, if I have kids, one of my boys is going to be named Gomez,
Oh god,
and the
where is
other
this
other
going?
boy's going to the other boy's going to be named Fester.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, I
I
was an
always thought
Adam
if I had a
Sandler
boy, I
fan.
was going to name him Pubert Gunther.
You're just dooming your own son there.
I feel like that's a pretty strong name.
I
Yeah,
mean,
dooming him or making him stronger.
Yeah.
Landon,
I
the
mean,
fact that you actually have kids, what inspired you to come up with their names?
It was mostly Lizzie. Lizzie had a big, uh, yeah, part in that because we went over names, and then in the end, she wanted Penelope and Matilda. If I had a choice, I think I was thinking of like Winifred
Winifred?
and
Yeah.
yeah, I think with Penelope, I did not have a strong idea of what we should name her, but I think I was thinking like Winifred for Matilda, and we could call her Winnie or Freddie or something
Uh,
like that.
that one of my jobs, I did work with somebody named Winifred, and we just called her Winnie.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah, it was a weird name at first, but I just went along with it.
It's kind of a cool name. Matilda's
yeah,
a Matilda's there's that song Waltzing Matilda, so I mean that's pretty thing.
Isn't there like a children's book as well? It's like Matilda something or other.
yeah. It's Roald Dahl.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh
right.
yeah. Yeah.
How do you
Yeah,
actually
Roald.
pronounce his name? Is it Roald? Roald? Like, no
I
one
always
really
thought it.
knows.
I just always thought it was Roald Dahl. So that's how I've always said it, but
Joe,
I
you're the
may be
literary
wrong.
expert here.
Oh shit. Yeah,
Roald.
now you call me out. I really don't know. I mean, I would say the common sense pronunciation, but then it's like common sense when applied to that guy.
Come
I
with
did.
me, and you'll
You'll
see
see.
a world of pure imagination
Oh,
where
jeez.
common sense is dead.
Oh, I love
You're
that
left with
song.
your imagination. So yeah, actually, that's what inspired the Matilda is the Roald Dahl book, and then with Penelope, Lizzie's always liked Greek literature, so
Oh
Penelope
yeah.
is Odysseus's wife, the
Oh, that's
weaver.
right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. The faithful wife.
Yep.
Yeah, wait 20 years for her husband to show, or was it 20 years? Yeah, it was 20 years for him to show back up or something.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so there's like some ounce of meaning to their names anyway.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
the point.
yeah.
Yeah. And actually, Matilda means warrior,
Oh,
which
interesting.
yeah explains why she's got that wonderful personality where
She'll just
she's
kick you
always
in the
fighting.
shin.
Yeah, she's always fighting you over something.
Oh wow. Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
should I be wearing a lot of like what they use when they're training the dogs with the police dogs or
Just like a
attack
giant
dogs or
oven
whatever?
mitt over your entire body, basically.
Yeah.
No, she'll find a way to rip it and choke you with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm scared of. Does
I love
she have a muzzle? Like
No,
a like Hannibal Lecter kind of muzzle?
no. Usually we just give her the straight arm, the stiff arm. Just push on her head a little bit. Eventually she wears out enough that she'll leave you alone for 5 seconds.
Yeah, 5 seconds. That's Landon. I don't think I'm coming over to your house anytime soon.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. You keep your Rona in Nebraska.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, how are the cases up there?
Um, I don't think they're. I mean, they're not any worse as far as anywhere else is concerned, but I mean, I do think that there are some more cases. I know that at a particular college, they had several people test positive, and they were all involved with the athletics department. So,
Go figure.
Yeah, I think
yeah,
that's been going on here at the high school
yeah,
as well. Is there was a few people who tested positive on the football team.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
What I can say is, I think a lot of colleges are betting. You know, they have, they are seeing no way that we can make it past October. If we make it past October, it's going to be amazing, without having to shut down again.
yeah. My personal opinion is as soon as we start, doing in-person classes again, whether they, stagger it or however they plan on doing it, there's going to be a spike. And my question is for the universities and all types of colleges would be, you know, how big of a spike before we just go purely back to online again?
Yeah,
Because I'm sure that that's going to be frustrating for a lot of people who, are moving like
yeah,
to Lawrence for KU, and you know, let's
yeah,
say that it lasts like a couple of weeks, and then it's like, oh, everything's shut down, and then they spent that time and money moving here, and they probably are going to end up like staying here, but they have to pay the money, but they can't actually go like on campus and do all that, and they could have just saved money by staying home.
and it's also very difficult, frustrating for faculty and staff at colleges
Yeah,
because I mean, there's a lot of people. It's like, how do you expect us to work online? I mean, our job demands physical work, so it's a really difficult time for everybody. If
yeah,
anybody thinks there's nobody who is not having any trouble, they're dead wrong.
yeah.
Well, although there was a European country like a month or two ago now, uh, Czech Republic, maybe, uh, somewhere around there, I think, that had a coronavirus party, not like what Alabama has been doing, but the fact that they celebrated the fact that they were completely free of it somehow.
Oh, yeah.
So they all got out on this like ancient historic bridge. They all sat like right next to each other, and there hasn't been any other updates. So I guess they're actually out of it, which is surprising.
Yeah.
Give it time.
Yeah. But then
Give it.
again, they were under some sort of communist Russian rule at one point, so they can kind of just be like, yeah, we'll get through this. Whereas us wonderful Americans who like to sit here and go, oh, my gun laws are going to protect me from the coronavirus.
Yeah, but you also think about it, and I mean, China is a communist country, and
Yes, but
as soon
they.
as as soon as things started looking good, they opened everything back up. So you have everybody going like crowding the Great Wall of China. Well, then you had more cases all of a sudden, and it's like, oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
So I think it really has to do with handle as well as how much information are we getting out of these countries?
Yeah. Well,
To-
the one country I'm thinking of didn't isn't communist anymore. They could be, but like they're well aware of the scientific benefits of not having your head up your ass.
Yeah, if only Americans could get it figured out, huh?
Oh
Which
man.
isn't an un-American thing to say. It's just pretty factual.
I love how for a film podcast we've just spent the last like 30 minutes talking about non-film things. Hey guys, we're only in episode 2. Let's start talking about politics.
Well, why not? Why
Oh,
not?
don't don't get me. If we're gonna start doing that,
Well,
you've
well,
seen
let's
that?
loop it around. When do you think they'll come out with a Rona movie?
Oh man. I mean,
Uh,
technically with like pandemic and all the things that are out there, like technically they've already had that, but I don't know. I at this point don't really want to see a movie because
yeah.
everyone's been impacted by it to some degree that it's like I really don't want to be reminded of the shitstorm that I went through.
I
Yeah,
mean, it's kind of like I'm sure people are gonna make good movies about it one day, maybe. But
maybe like 50
um,
years from now.
Yeah.
well, it's I bet it's gonna be kind of like how many people um wanted to see a war movie, like just like on the edge of when the Vietnam War ended. How many people wanted to go see a Vietnam War movie?
I'd
I
like to
Oh,
see
mean,
those statistics
granted,
actually.
granted, granted that you did have films with Vietnam veterans, and then you had let's see, The Deer Hunter came out in '78, Apocalypse Now in '79. So I mean, but the response, at least to Apocalypse Now, it's kind of like and then of course you had Platoon, which took years and years to get made before it finally got made. Because how many people wanted to go see war movies? So
yeah.
I mean, people are going to make a movie about the pandemic eventually. It's just um, how long it's going to take them to get it done, and how many actual good movies are going to be made, and how many crazy batshit propaganda pictures.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because the studios, some of them are still sitting on like movies that should have been released uh, this year at some point. Some of
Oh
them
yeah,
have pushed it back all the way to like 2023, I think. I saw for
yeah.
one of them. Maybe it was like the next Batman movie or something. But
Well,
oh, interesting news though about Disney Plus. Uh, a little delayed since we're doing the podcast, but uh, they're releasing the live action Mulan on their platform, but rather than including it with the subscription fee, they're going to charge people $30 if they want to watch it.
oh,
That's ridiculous.
okay. Even before that, how between the three of us, who was going to actually watch the live action?
I was maybe gonna get around to watching it. I mean, I'm sure my kids would like to watch that.
Right.
Right, but see,
But I
for
mean,
you, it would be economically, or I guess financially, economically, whatever the word for it is. I'm a film student. I don't fucking know. Uh,
yeah, but you're also a business,
yeah,
so
that's true. Well, I'm a business minor, so.
there's a
Anyway, the
reason it's
point
a
is,
minor.
for you with a family of 4, spending $30 to watch a movie where it would have cost you probably like double that to go to the theaters for tickets and popcorn and snacks and stuff. Whereas you're
Mm.
just paying for essentially one ticket that, while yeah, it's kind of expensive, you can then see. I don't know if they would allow you to like download it and have forever at that price, but uh, anyway, the point is, I probably wouldn't see it though.
Yeah.
I mean, my deal is not uh financially speaking, it's definitely like it's like a this loyalist nostalgia, to the original.
Yeah, but the original also had a song by Matthew Wilder, which, if you don't remember who that is, that's the one where it's like, ain't nobody gonna break my stride, nobody gonna slow me down. Oh, I got to keep on moving.
Okay. Well, it was kind of a toss up with you anyway. You don't like musicals, so
Yeah, but Mulan, the original one, was fun, actually. Uh, Matthew Wilder, by the way, did the song A Girl Worth Fighting For, which in today's society, the lyrics are a little bit backwards.
I mean, the original was just. Here's my thing. If you're gonna remake something that wasn't so good the first time. If it's like a treasure, don't touch it.
Like The
It's like,
Lion King, for example.
oh gosh. Yeah, that was a terrible
I
move.
will continue to passionately spew hatred about the remake, although it did have John Oliver as Zazu.
Oh,
But the fact that the only
but it
original.
wasn't Rowan Atkinson, so
Yeah, that's probably the only time I've ever heard Rowan Atkinson say anything, though. It was as Zazu, because his role is Mr. Bean. He just bumbles around and goes.
you never watched Blackadder.
No, I
It's
don't think so.
Oh yes, you have. Yeah, you have.
I have?
I showed you the one where it's like insults by nationality. I think that video is no longer up, but it was
I wonder why.
well, it wasn't racist. That was the annoying part. That was that was what bugged me. But it's like uh, Ron Atkinson, Hugh Laurie, and Stephen Fry, and they're these Roman centurions, and they're standing around, and they're like, "Excuse me, sir, why is that orange hedge moving toward us? That's not a hedge. That's the Scottish."
No, yeah, that's right. That was Rowan Atkinson, though?
Yeah, Ron Atkinson was in it. I mean,
Oh,
it's
I didn't remember
hilarious.
that.
Oh, it's hilarious,
When you said
especially when it's like
Roman.
World War One.
When you said Roman centurions, the first thing that came to my mind was from The Life of Brian, where it's like, Centurion? Why do they titter so? Well, you see, sir, it's a joke name, like Biggest Dickus. I have a very good friend named Biggest Dickus. He lives in Rome.
Very good friend in Rome, the biggest stickers. Okay, but yeah, getting back to the Lion King, yeah, only James Earl Jones was in both versions.
Also,
And I
they
mean,
dropped my favorite character, Ed the hyena.
oh, they dropped Ed?
I think they did, yeah, because of obvious reasons, but at the same time, you could have used that as like a talking point. You could have said, "Oh, yeah, Ed's a bit slow." Uh, maybe address that or something rather than just, "Oh, yeah, by the way, we decided to drop a character who we obviously made fun of because he's retarded." Any comments to that?
I'm trying to Landon, you got one?
Never. Well, I did not watch the remake. It
I
wasn't
didn't
worth.
Yeah.
either.
It wasn't worth the
Well,
time. I thought.
I wasn't gonna watch. I didn't watch it either. I'm just saying. Stuart's, pointed out.
The one film that I wouldn't mind taking a look at would be the Tim Burton Dumbo one.
Oh yeah,
That
yeah.
does look interesting because it's already like horrifically dark in the original.
Oh yeah.
So the
Well,
fact that
I
Tim
love.
Burton.
Yeah, I love Tim Burton, and also because the remake does have a very good cast of characters. I mean, you have Michael Keaton, you have Danny DeVito, you have
Mm.
Colin Farrell, and of course, my personal favorite, Ava Green. Don't judge me.
I'm not.
I mean, she is a really, really terrific actress. So, I mean,
However, the
um,
question with the remake of Dumbo, did they leave, like, how much did they leave in from the original one? Because a lot of people had a problem with the
the
crows.
Crows. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it's like,
and
mm,
yeah, and that's just something I don't think anybody really noticed. I mean, no kid in their mind would think that, but then you have some adult who's watching Disney films for some reason and like, oh, that's they were probably a film scholar. That's probably
I
why.
mean, the only way you could have made that horribly worse is if you had Bill Cosby in there as
Oh
the
gosh.
one main crow just going zip zabbity zoop zab pudding pops.
Oh my gosh. I yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just the remake looks so different from the original
I kind of
that
like the fact that it's darker, not only story wise, but also like lighting aesthetically. It looks
oh
like there's a lot more shadow to it instead of like
yeah,
all the bright colors that the animation had. Um, and I'm just
I mean,
remembering bits and pieces from the trailer I saw. So
I mean, yeah. Like I said, Tim Burton does a movie. Chances are I'm gonna want to check it out at least once. Um,
I feel like something that Disney should do because, as you said, I am a business minor. So with my limited knowledge of how things work, if I were Disney, I'd want to be selling to Netflix again because I'd just end up making more money. And
Hmm.
there's a market out there, so supply and demand is checked as well. Uh, Tick the little box. Um, the only downside is if I were Netflix, I'd be like, well, we're spending a shitload of money every year.
yeah.
How much do you want,
But
Disney? We'll probably give it to you anyway.
I also feel like these like Netflix should be looking for movies that are in the public domain or have not been seen in ages that they could make money on. Um,
Yeah, well, the problem is, like, are there any
I
films that are
mean, maybe
actually
not
in the
even.
public domain at this point, though?
Oh yeah, there are. I just can't. There is one that I don't know why I can't think of what the name of it is. But I mean, there are just movies out there that if you were to bring them up out of obscurity or bring them into the to an English speaking audience, you would get a lot of people wanting to view them. There is a market for that kind of stuff because I'm sure that if they were to, for instance, pull out some long lost Ed Wood film or something, you know, people are going to want to watch that and they would pay to watch that.
Uh huh.
I mean, I'm pulling an example out of my ass here, but you know, weirder things happened.
So, any film that was released before 1925 or works of the United States government are now in the public domain in the US, and the very first one is Abraham Lincoln 1930 by none other than D.W. Griffith.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
okay,
that's interesting.
okay, here's a question. You remember that uh film that was talked about, Greed by Max von Stroheim, that the original cut was 9 hours?
Oh god.
Out of would any of the three of us actually want to see that movie if that became available?
I mean, I guess it would be interesting to see how long into a 9 hour film I could get, but at the same time, it's like the minute I'm bored as fuck, I am never going to attempt to finish it. I have a feeling that's how it'll be.
Landon,
Hello,
is he there?
Orlando. Well, I think he's dead. Anyway, while we wait for him, there is an Ed Wood film that's actually out on public domain. Guess which one it is?
Uh, is it Plan 9?
Oh god, no. I haven't come across it yet on the list, but it's
Okay.
Glen or Glinda.
Okay, that was gonna be my second guess. I mean,
Oh, surprisingly, Charlie Chaplin's The Gold Rush is out, and that was 1925.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course
I mean,
that
I
got
feel
made.
like a lot of, yeah. I don't know.
You were talking about House on Haunted Hill last week, right?
Mm, I was talking about The Haunting of Hill House, but yeah, House on Haunted Hill.
Oh,
It
because that's a public domain one.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's a fun movie. It's a fun I mean, it's kind of it is laughable, but I mean, come on. If the movie has Vincent Price, it's worth watching, in my opinion.
It's a
I'm
Wonderful
willing to back it
Life
up.
is on there.
Yeah. Favorite Christmas movie? A guy wants to commit suicide and
Nothing says Christmas quite like that.
nah.
Little Shop of Horrors, the 1961 by Roger Corman,
Not really.
is on there. Um, the Man with the Golden Arm, is that a
Okay, that's a Frank Sinatra film about a junkie.
ah,
Yeah,
Maniac is on there.
maniac. That's
Dwayne Esper. Didn't we
so
watch that? I swear we watched it.
it sounds familiar.
All
Why
right,
does it sound?
now I gotta go down the rabbit hole that is Wikipedia.
Don't go on there,
uh,
people.
Also known as the Sex Maniac. That's great. Based on the Black
Oh,
Cat by Edgar Allan Poe, apparently.
okay. I think I know which one you're talking about. Oh my gosh. Didn't watch it, but I know it by reputation for sure.
Yeah, why do I know this? Uh, Maybe there's like the other Maniac or something. There's like another one that's based off of that. I don't know.
I don't know. I've heard it's quite a film.
Night of the Living Dead, 1968 version.
Yeah.
That's available. Oh, that went. What the hell? That immediately went into public domain, interestingly.
Well, I mean, is he back with us?
Yeah, I'm back with you. Sorry, my computer just like stopped for a second, and I had to reset it.
Oh, that's okay.
I fell asleep.
Yeah. Well, we've been talking about films in the public domain, and
Yes, Plan 9 from Outer Space is on the list.
oh, of course it is.
That's good. That's good.
But I'd ask Stuart, you remember, because you took Wilson's, what was it, History of Motion Picture class?
Wilson.
I'm talking to Landon.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. You remember we were talking about Irving Thalberg and his fight with Max von Stroheim. Or I think it's Max von Stroheim. Or maybe it's Eric von Stroheim, whatever.
Yeah, I vaguely
On the
remember.
Yeah, the film agreed how it was originally 9 hours long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd asked Stuart. I said, if there was any way you could see the 9 hour cut, would you?
Yeah, I'd
And
probably take a whack at it.
yeah,
how far do you think you'd make it though? Because realistically speaking, you probably would not watch all 9 hours of it.
That depends. If, like, for instance, Lizzie and the kids were gone for a couple of days, I could probably sit down and watch the whole thing in one sitting.
yeah.
Dang.
I mean, have you? It's not that different, I think, than wanting to sit down and watch a mini series like, Lonesome Dove, which is 6 hours anyway.
I feel like it
Yeah.
is though, because while there is an arc in a miniseries, there's also mini arcs within each individual episode, whereas a 9-hour film would just have, in theory, one arc that would just be so stretched out, you wouldn't see a whole lot of progress. And yes,
That
I
I
haven't seen
don't
the
know.
film, so
Yeah. Well,
I'm
it's
just
also a
spitballing.
book, so
Well,
you
that
can
would be a
also
good
read
reason to
book.
sit down and see what happens. See how they
Exactly.
do that.
But I'm saying the incident that I'm just bored out of my mind, I would probably like just stop and never go back to it.
I feel like that's the worst thing somebody who likes film to
Yeah,
have is that boredom thing.
exactly.
I mean, to get easily bored or to get bored at all while watching film, because you know how many times I've heard film students who are like, "Oh, why do we have to watch this old film? It bores me so much." And it's like, really?
Well, okay, how about the fact that in my documentary class we had to watch this one, like, I think it was only 12 or 15 minutes, but it was just called Rain. And it was really boring because it was about nothing but rain. Artistically speaking, it has some value, but it's just like I'd rather look at a painting for the same amount of time
Right.
because it was just a bunch of random images of people and I guess the world interacting with rain. I guess it's a famous thing. Go look it up, but it's boring, honestly. There's no other way for it. And I think that's the thing with a lot of documentaries is you have to be careful about your audience. I guess whether or not you intend for it to be art in the first place or educational. I guess those are kind of the two major categories that documentaries fall into.
Mm, yeah.
Well, anyway, uh I guess we're just gonna slam on the brakes really hard here at the end. Uh since it seems like we're out of things to talk about and we're a little bit over an hour, so
Yeah, and I gotta feed the kids.
yeah. Oh, I thought you already did that, you irresponsible adult, you.
Well, I ended up. My sister decided to come in, well, she was passing through town, so I met her at South Park and social distanced and everything like that. But ended up just saying a quick hello and didn't get a chance to get dinner.
Oh
So,
well.
Okay.
Should have let us know so that you could actually feed your kids.
oh, it's okay.
Now it's Penelope just chewing on the couch or something.
No, they probably are snacking on something.
Oh, that's even worse then.
Yeah, we'll see. All
All
right,
right.
but I'm
Well,
gonna go ahead and head out.
yep. Anyway, thank you for joining us today, dear listeners, and we'll be back next week, hopefully on time. As of recording this, I still haven't released episode 1, so yeah, I'll get on that.
Oh gosh.
Anyway, toodaloo.
Adios.
Toodaloo.